I destroyed my ex-boyfriend's Lego sets after he threw away my teddy bear, the wildest breakup in LA. I just have to get this off my chest. I'm 24F, still reeling from what went down with my now ex-boyfriend, 25M, in Los Angeles, and it's one hell of a story. Grab some popcorn because this is a dramatic roller coaster. Living in LA had always felt like a dream. Sunny skies, vibrant energy, and endless opportunities. But what I thought would be a beautiful chapter of my life quickly turned into a whirlwind of emotions and heartache. It's funny how you can feel so high one moment, only to be brought crashing down the next. The City of Angels felt more like a city of turmoil as I navigated the complexities of my relationship, discovering just how fragile love can be. I often found myself walking down the bustling streets of downtown LA, surrounded by the chaos of life, feeling increasingly isolated. I was trying to hold on to the joy of my surroundings, while grappling with the shadows that loomed over my relationship. To set the stage, I have this teddy bear that is not just a toy, it's a piece of my soul. My grandmother gave it to me when I was 8 years old during her battle with cancer. She was in stage 4, and things were dire. I remember sitting on her bed, tears streaming down my face as she handed me that bear. She told me, "Take care of it, and it will always remind you that I'm with you." The bear, affectionately named Bear Bear, had a voice box that played a recorded message of her saying, "I hope you're feeling loved today because I love you more than all the stars in the sky and all the fish in the sea, and you mean the world to me." Each time I hugged it, it felt like she was wrapping her arms around me again. This wasn't just a toy to me. It was a lifeline, a connection to her love and wisdom that I carried with me through every challenge life threw my way. Over the years, Bear Bear had become my confidant, the one who listened to my dreams, fears, and everything in between. I would clutch him tight during thunderstorms, and on nights filled with uncertainty, he was the comfort I needed. Fast forward to living with my boyfriend for about 8 months in our cramped LA apartment, which had quickly turned into a battleground of emotions. I had moved into his space with high hopes for our future, believing that cohabiting would strengthen our bond. Instead, I quickly realized that the intimacy of sharing a home exposed the cracks in our relationship. What was supposed to be a shared journey morphed into a tug-of-war over space, respect, and emotional boundaries. The initial charm of our love story faded, revealing a stark reality. I was becoming increasingly unhappy. He was charming and funny at first, often wooing me with grand gestures and romantic dinners, yet those moments were slowly overshadowed by a growing discomfort. However, as the months passed, his true nature began to reveal itself, exposing a darker side that emerged whenever my cherished belongings were involved. The apartment, which was supposed to be a safe haven, morphed into a pressure cooker of unspoken tensions and growing resentment. It felt like I was walking on eggshells, always trying to avoid any conflict that might trigger his unpredictable outbursts. My once vibrant spirit dimmed as I found myself sacrificing parts of my identity to maintain peace. I tried to carve out my own space, decorating my room with mementos from my childhood, including Bear Bear, but he had a way of diminishing the things I cherished, often making dismissive comments that made me question the worth of my memories. I wanted to preserve my connection to my past, but he made me feel guilty for holding on to things that didn't fit his minimalist aesthetic. Then, just 2 days ago, everything shattered. I came home after a long day, exhausted and looking for solace. I thought I would find comfort in my room, hugging Bear Bear tightly while venting about the day's challenges. Instead, I was met with an empty space where my beloved bear once sat, and my heart dropped into my stomach like a stone. Panic coursed through my veins as I frantically searched the apartment, flipping over cushions and digging through my belongings, desperate to find that one piece of my past that held so much meaning. The mere thought of losing Bear Bear felt like losing a part of my grandmother all over again. Hours passed as I combed every corner of our cramped apartment, my mind racing with fear and anger. Every passing moment felt like an eternity, my desperation turning into dread as the reality of his actions set in. I could feel the tears welling up, blurring my vision as I imagined the worst, him tossing my bear into the trash without a second thought. The silence in the apartment felt deafening as I shouted his name, my heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and rage. Finally, after an exhausting search, I found him in the living room, casually scrolling on his phone as if nothing was wrong. I confronted him, tears streaming down my cheeks, feeling utterly betrayed. When he revealed his true colors, it felt as if the ground had given way beneath my feet. I threw it away. It was disgusting, and I hated seeing it in our room. My heart shattered into a million pieces. How could he be so callous? It wasn't just a teddy bear, it was a connection to my childhood, to my grandmother's love. I felt rage bubbling up inside me, a righteous anger that ignited like a wildfire. Fueled by betrayal, I stormed into his Lego shrine of a room. The walls were adorned with his intricate masterpieces, the Eiffel Tower standing tall, the Hogwarts castle looming large, and a cherry blossom tree that would make any artist weep. Each set was a testament to hours of meticulous work, and the sight of them only fueled my fire. I couldn't help but feel a surge of resentment towards the time and energy he devoted to his Lego collection, while dismissing the emotional value of my bear. His hobby was his pride and joy, something he would often brag about to anyone who would listen. But in that moment, I couldn't care less about his creations. The joy he derived from building these sets felt like a slap in the face as I stood there, drowning in my own grief. As I stood there, I felt a rush of adrenaline coursing through my veins, drowning out any rational thought. The fury of betrayal clouded my judgment. It was as if I were possessed by a force that demanded justice for my lost memories. The moment crystallized in my mind, and I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my emotions surge through me like a tidal wave. Without thinking twice, I started to dismantle everything he had painstakingly built. Pieces flew through the air like shrapnel from an explosion, colorful bricks scattering like confetti around the room. The sound of snapping plastic echoed in my ears as I tossed the remnants of his creations out the window and into the garbage. I felt liberated, yet terrified, my heart racing as I unleashed the pent-up frustration and hurt I had held back for far too long. He burst into the room, eyes wide with disbelief and fury, his face contorted with rage. "How dare you touch my things? I spent hours on those," he shouted, his voice a mixture of shock and anger. But I was beyond reason. The sheer gall of his entitlement ignited something primal within me. I shot back. "You think you can throw away my cherished memories and expect me to sit here quietly? You can get the hell out, and you have 1 week to clear your stuff." My heart raced, but my resolve only grew stronger as I stood my ground. I could see the disbelief in his eyes, the shock of someone who thought he could toy with my feelings without consequence. The silence that followed was deafening, and in that moment, I felt both liberated and terrified. I was unyielding as he tried to argue about paying bills and having rights in the apartment, but I was done. "I don't care," I spat, my voice trembling with emotion. "What you did was unforgivable, and I won't let you pretend it's okay." The tension crackled in the air, thick enough to cut with a knife, and for a moment, I wondered if this was how it felt to finally stand up for myself. The adrenaline pumping through my veins was intoxicating, a bittersweet thrill coursing through me as I prepared to take back control of my life. But it didn't end there. Our mutual friends caught wind of the drama, and messages flooded in. "How could you do this to him?" they asked. I was infuriated, feeling as if I had just been put on trial. The betrayal felt like it was compounded by their judgments. I couldn't believe they were taking his side. He had painted himself as the victim, and suddenly I was the villain in this twisted tale. I refused to play the part of the remorseful ex. I felt justified in my actions, but the guilt started to creep in like a fog rolling in off the ocean. The wave of confusion was almost overwhelming, as I battled between feeling justified and wondering if I had gone too far. It was exhausting to have to defend myself to people who didn't understand the depth of my pain. Their messages cut deeper than I expected, as I found myself questioning whether I was the one who had lost my mind. The conversations with friends felt like a whirlwind of emotions. One minute I was strong and empowered, and the next I was spiraling into self-doubt. But then I remembered Bear, how he had disregarded my feelings and memories so easily. How could anyone expect me to just roll over and accept that kind of disrespect? I realized that my connection to my grandmother and the comfort Bear Bear provided me was worth fighting for, no matter what anyone else thought. The anger simmered beneath the surface, and I decided that I would reclaim my narrative. I owed it to myself and to my grandmother's memory to stand firm and not allow anyone to belittle my emotions or experiences. Update: here's where the story takes a surprising turn. After a sleepless night filled with tears and anger, I decided I had to find Bear Bear. I rallied my sister and my best friend for an epic dumpster dive. With flashlights and gloves in hand, we combed through trash like we were on a treasure hunt, the stench overwhelming but my determination stronger than any foul odor. It felt surreal, digging through garbage in the name of love and nostalgia. My heart raced with a mix of dread and hope as we sifted through discarded items, old pizza boxes, and bags of refuse that had seen better days. The laughter and camaraderie with my sister and friend made the process more bearable, transforming the grim task into an adventure. We exchanged stories of childhood memories, and I felt my spirits lift slightly, reminding myself that I wasn't alone in this fight. As we worked, I shared stories about Bear Bear and my grandmother, painting a picture of the love and connection that made this bear irreplaceable. After 3 grueling hours, we finally hit the jackpot. There he was, in the depths of that dumpster, slightly worse for wear, but still my Bear Bear. I pulled him out, a wave of relief washing over me like the warm California sun breaking through the clouds. The sight of him sent tears of joy streaming down my face. I held him close, feeling like I had just reclaimed a piece of my heart. The moment felt surreal, as if I had just survived a great ordeal and emerged victorious. My friends cheered, their faces lighting up with excitement as they celebrated the small victory with me. As for my ex, well, the audacity of his calls asking for forgiveness was laughable. "I'll buy you another one," he pleaded, but he could never replace the love and memories tied to the original. I had seen this side of him before, the manipulative charm that tried to worm its way back into my good graces after he'd done something terrible. My response was swift and unyielding. I snapped a picture of me holding Bear Bear, grime and all, with the caption, "Look what I found after searching through the trash for hours." I sent it to our friends along with photos of his Lego destruction, declaring, "Thank you all for taking his side without knowing the full story. You should have seen the state of my teddy bear after he threw it away." I laid bare the truth of our relationship and how he watched me cry without a flicker of remorse. Sharing the photos felt liberating. It was a way of reclaiming my narrative and showcasing the stark contrast between how he treated my cherished memories and how I had fought for them. The support I received was overwhelming, with friends rallying behind me as they began to understand the depth of my pain and betrayal. As the days passed, I found solace in my family and friends. My dad and brother came over to help with the aftermath of my ex's departure, and their presence was a balm to my soul. I realized that I had the strength to create a life filled with love and respect, far removed from the toxicity I had just escaped. My father, ever the supportive figure, reminded me of the importance of cherishing the things that matter most, urging me to embrace my memories without shame. It was empowering to have their unwavering support as I began to reclaim my space, physically and emotionally. I spent the weekend cleaning and redecorating, making my room a sanctuary where I could reflect on the past and dream about the future. I could picture my life unfolding beautifully, surrounded by friends and family who respected my feelings. The relief of no longer having to navigate the minefield of my ex's emotions was liberating. I filled my room with fresh flowers and framed photographs of my grandmother, surrounding myself with reminders of love rather than loss. I even added a cozy reading nook, a place where I could curl up with my favorite books, a cup of tea, and Bear Bear nestled beside me. And as for him, he can rebuild his Lego empire all he wants. I'm just thrilled to have Bear Bear back in my arms, ready to sew on that button and tell my grandmother about the crazy roller coaster of a breakup I just survived. I had emerged stronger, learning valuable lessons about love, respect, and the importance of holding on to the things that truly matter. This chapter of my life has come to a close, but I'm ready for whatever wild adventure awaits next. As I look forward, I feel a renewed sense of hope, ready to embrace the future with open arms and an open heart, knowing that I am worthy of love that respects both my past and my present.